it's plain to see. I wanna be famous. I wanna live close to the sun. I'll pack your bags cause I've already won. Everything to prove, nothing in my way. I'll get there one day. Cause I wanna be famous. Na 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 na.
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama. Welcome to episode 5 in our Total Drama Spotlight series.
Now it's time for season 5 of the show,
Total Drama All-Stars! This season once again takes place on the now toxic-free island as 13 contestants from both the original and new cast compete for the $1 million cash prize. Now, this is also the first season to be sort of controversial as well.
For various reasons, All-Stars is considered to be the worst season of the show, such as the season focusing more on the new characters rather than the original, the build-up of Gwen and Courtney's reconciling only for it to be messed up again, Alejandro's voice actor being changed for no reason, and development of Mike's character.
So, in essence, all of the screw-ups and troublemakers were returned.
Yeah, basically. And that's why they had the theme of heroes versus villains. Mm-hmm. And the teams are called the heroic hamsters and the villainous vultures. And they said, why are hamsters aren't heroic? And they said, would you rather be called the heroic hippos? Hamsters it is. Yeah, so basically they had a lot of the ones that caused trouble in the past seasons, like Heather, right. Duncan, now Courtney, now Gwen's part of it, and she didn't want to be part of it, and she was saying, like, I've had 3 seasons of nice, and they still focus on the one thing I did wrong, right. Like, and yeah, and people were saying, but we don't care about that anymore, and they were kind of getting upset over that.
Right.
But
it's like not caring about Tom's story anymore. Tom has made good. He has redeemed himself in the season finale. So Tom Star is no longer a concern, and there's no more making fun of Tom because Tom's now a redeemed character.
Right, and same thing should be for Total Drama. After what happened, it's like you can share who you want. It's just like what happens in the show happens.
Right.
But the show seemed to act like everybody was still pissed 2 years later.
Right.
And they were like, but no one cares anymore. What are you talking about?
Like, oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And, well, I guess the Total Drama fans within the show were going like, ah.
And then it was like, Courtney, she's back again?
Like, how many times are you coming back?
Right.
So, yeah, they had the heroes and the villains, and there were a lot more villains than heroes in this season. Mm-hmm. There were very few that were heroes, so that could tell you something about this show.
And most of the villains were, the worst ones were actually from the new cast. I mean, we were used to Heather, and we were used to Duncan.
And Alejandro.
And fake villain Gwen.
Right.
And crappy Courtney, crappy attitude Courtney. But yeah, Joe and Lightning was just irritating.
Yeah, like, didn't you?
He was just
and I was gonna be like, wait a minute, didn't you win in All Stars? Because it was either him or someone else. Someone won, and they came back anyway. Maybe they lost the money at some point.
Did Sharkbait Scott come back?
Yeah, and he was since he was toned down because they had so many competitors that were, villainous in their season, Scott was kind of toned down. So people actually started to like him because he was more of a goofball than an actual threat because he was always scared of sharks now. Right. He was kind of goofing up on things. He was used as bait. And so now he was toned down a bit.
And why they brought Lightning back, I guess there was one irritating character from the new cast, and then Lindsay, the ditzy one, it was the irritating one from the old cast. I mean, at first you would laugh at her, but after a while it's like, by now you should know
how this show works.
Like, who was the name she kept messing up?
Tyler.
She
remember
known
Tyler.
Tyler's name after like the 50th time. But it's like, no, it never happened.
She didn't know which way to go to the cabin, which means it that way. Like, just push the car. Oh, okay. How do you push? It's like, okay, you're even dumber than usual.
Now, which season was it, forgive me, that they didn't want LaShonda to be voted off, and she kept saying her name over and over.
Told you on my island.
And then it kept
ding.
where it counted.
Yeah.
They're like, stop saying her name.
Yeah,
LaShonda?
Like, ding. And it's like, what? Yeah. In the first season, they wanted LaShonda to stay and win, but they kept saying, if you just say their names, that'll be counted as a vote to take them off, because the ones who got voted off got to choose who gets kicked out. Right. Oh, I want LaShonda to win. Ding. Wait, no. If you want to keep LaShonda, ding. Don't say it. Don't stop saying her name. Well, don't say LaShonda, ding. The parents said LaShonda said, that's a parent. He doesn't count. They kept counting it anyway. It's like, but we didn't say don't.
So, yes. Lindsay, after a while, you look at her and she goes, oh, she's pretty, she's cute, blah, blah, blah. But then after a while,
okay,
it's like,
you're losing it.
Go away.
Yeah.
You should be growing at least in one brain cell by now.
Right. The only thing she figured out was Heather was a jerk. It's the only thing she kept.
That's true.
That's
true.
Okay. For this season, they kind of had, like I said, different stories in here. They started parodying Wipeout, the show. Mm-hmm. If people don't know, they're the ones that, go through these challenges and they keep getting hurt, and that's the whole point. You just watch them fail. And they also had Mike come back again and Zoe. Mm-hmm. And this time, they were kind of had an issue with Mike because, starting from the other season he was in, he had control of his personality, so you only have him out when he needed them.
Right.
And then when they were doing one of the first challenges, he got hit in the back of his head by accident, and he somehow unlocked the fifth personality that was supposed to be staying away was Mal, and from there he couldn't bring, and he became the unexpected villain of the season because he couldn't bring back any of the personalities. They were all locked up, and
because he was keeping them prisoner. Mal,
right. He could only turn to Mal, and he didn't know when he was turning. Right. Just when it looked like someone was an opportunity for him to cheat, he would come all of a sudden and cheat, and then he would revert back, and he wouldn't even know when he would turn. And that was the scary part. Right. He was aware when he turned in the other times, but this guy is like a whole different lifestyle. Right. He's like, well, what happened? What did I do? What did I say? And he was treacherous. Right. He gave
put all the others to shame.
Yeah, he was. Mal was the perfect name for him, and he had his emo haircut and stuff. He was calling crap every episode he was in, and Mike couldn't figure out why couldn't he get his other personalities, and that's why they were starting to lose a lot of challenges because he couldn't become anyone else now.
I think that was actually a good addition. I know that you said that they were not happy because they concentrated more on the new characters than the old, but I think that storyline made it more interesting.
Yeah, because as it started
I honestly wouldn't want to see one of the original characters
be a villain again.
Right.
So that's why every season's a different person is the villain of the season. Mm-hmm. If you did it at the same time every time, then I think that would get kind of stale. Mm-hmm. But yeah, as the contestants started to go down, they will only find out about Mal, like, if they were getting voted off, and it was too late to tell them, so it didn't become apparent until, like, near the end of the season, like, this isn't Mike. And then the worst part, he got stuck, so Mal was stuck permanently for a while, and he was luckily a personality, and you find out Mal was the original personality, and not Mike, and I was like Twilight Zone or some levels of crazy, like, wait a minute, so Mal, he's supposed to be Mal?
Well, that was some Sixth Sense stuff.
And people, I won't give away how it all resolves, but people do not like how that thing resolved because it's saying that that's not how multiple personality works. But you have to remember, it's animated. It's not meant to be taken seriously.
These people aren't real, so they can push the envelope with how extreme they make the characters and the storylines because they're not real people. No one's really getting hurt. Nobody's really hating on anybody because the people aren't real. So.
And,
now you're talking about Alejandro's voice actor being changed.
Yes. Alex House is now doing his voice. He's pretty close from what we heard, but you could tell, as we said in the World Tour podcast, there was something missing. It wasn't as menacing. Yeah,
Right.
you know, was soothing but treacherous and villainous. There was something about the voice, and it was hilarious. And also with the dialogue he would have, like you knew he was a backstabber no matter what.
Right.
And this season, he was in the robot because of what happened at the end of the third season.
Like Star Wars.
Right.
Darth Vader.
Yeah, and they did the whole callback scene. They going. Yeah, they did a whole callback scene to that. And he was stuck in there for years since Revenge of the Island.
Mm-hmm.
So he got out of the suit by accident, and he couldn't use his legs for a while. So he was walking on his hands for almost the whole season because his legs were numb from being in that suit for over a year.
Right. And that was funny. I'm sorry, that was funny because as soon as you watched it, if you were a Star Wars fan, you immediately knew what they were referencing.
Right, and then they had Chris in the cloak.
He's evil too. So they had not only one but two evil villains from the new cast.
Right. And they also had Chris in that dark cloak when they had him in the robot. That was hilarious.
Yes. And then now Courtney and Gwen, who we really wanted to be friends again.
Yeah.
And we wanted that mess to be over with.
Right.
But
Now we can agree that was kind of like, oh man, they could have just put that to rest, and it looked like, okay, they're finally getting along, they were finding things in common, and then all of a sudden something happened, and they were enemies again. It's like, oh. So I can agree, that's the one thing I thought wasn't all that great this season, because you really was waiting for that to be over, but now we can drag it on for whatever season you do later in the future, and unless people forget about that, it's like, eh.
But I think they were kind of doing like Mean Girls. They were doing like their turn on Mean Girls.
Uh-huh.
Because you thought it was over, and then, you know, she did something, and then all of a sudden it was back. So to me, I think that was a shout out to Mean Girls. Although
probably.
we could have done without that,
Mm.
but it was the teen angst thing, you know,
Right.
the click thing. So
Yeah.
for them, it worked.
Right. And they did have a couple good guys. And like I said, we had Mike, they had Zoe, they had Cameron back,
Right.
who was the one that knew about Mike's mole personality. He would
Right.
always help him. Like if some situation called for and he was too afraid to do it, he would figure out what was the trigger for
Right.
each personality and get him to do it so they could win.
Right.
And also when they had Mal, a lot of the characters were being taken off quick.
Mm-hmm.
That and when some people got like they were in danger of being eliminated, they had one who was like the lowest ranked. They would
Right.
go to this other island, the Boney Island, and they would find a little Chris McClain little wooden statues. If you
Right.
find it, you win immunity in the next episode and you can't be voted off. So whoever was lowest ranked would go to that island for the night and try to look for it. And most of the time, like the bad guys found them, like, come on! It's like, it'll be villain season, might as well be.
Well, maybe subconsciously it was really like a bad luck charm for
Yeah,
the
like
villains.
Beth.
That's why they were finding them.
Like, it was like Beth when she
Right.
brought the cursed tiki doll.
Right. So it was the curse Chris head, and only the villains were finding it.
Right? Oh man, but yeah, this was, for me, it was a fun season.
I think so too.
Yeah, I can understand that some people having issues with the season. Like every show, it seems like it's got haters or something nowadays.
But you know, that's the beauty of animation, if I can interject. The beauty of animation is the writers and producers have their idea of what the show should be. But because they're not real in this imaginary universe, we are able to use our imaginations and what we would like to see and what we think the characters should be and so forth.
Right.
And it makes it fun. That's the beauty of animation. And even when you're watching the things and see them unfold, sometimes, as you know, Disney, with Star vs. the Forces of Evil and other shows, they go online, they see the fan fiction, they see
and
what's
get
going
inspired.
on in the fandom, right, and get inspired, and they decide to incorporate into their show. That's the beauty of animation. That doesn't happen with any live action show except Supernatural, and that's what makes it fun. So, kind of, I think, not trying to sound Pollyanna, but maybe we could just let everyone feel how they feel about the characters in the show.
Right.
And then we just love it for the reasons we love it. And for those of you who thinks there's got to be a right reason, or a wrong reason, God bless you.
Right. And I was pretty surprised at her. And I saw some people online say this was the worst season ever of the show. And I was hearing the reasons, and I was somewhat confused.
I wasn't seeing it either.
The only thing I thought was weird, they changed Alejandro's voice actor. That was the only thing I said, like, we didn't know.
He didn't want to come back.
Yeah, he didn't want to come back, so they just had to get someone else.
Then they had to get someone else,
yeah,
or get rid of the character altogether.
Yeah, that was it.
I would rather they bring him back and did what they did than not have the character.
Yeah, and the challenges were still very fun, and they were doing all callbacks.
Chris was getting more and more crazy.
He went to jail. After last season, he went to jail, and they brought him out of prison and doing the next scene. Like, you greenlight another season with him in it, and they had to say, your sentence is over. Like, oh, you do know he's not okay still, right? Right. And all the challenges were ones from previous seasons, but with new twists on them, and still call out to the show Wipeout and to the other seasons. So there's always feels like it's still a new thing.
And I think it's funny it was called Total Drama All-Stars, because you see the All-Stars again were the people who were the villains and the people who were the goody-goodies. Right. So you had the two extremes that were the All-Stars. Right.
That was a good idea, because you already had the characters work off each other. So now the greatest villain, the greatest heroes need to fight it out. And some of them, this is the first time the old and new cast got to meet. Because in the fourth season, you just had some cameos from the original and they heard of them. This is the first time they actually got to interact with them. And you got some surprisingly different dynamics. Like, Joe got along with Duncan because he respected all of her insults. And Joe's like, oh, that's a good one there. He said, finally, someone who respects my good things. And they got along. And then Courtney hooked up with Scott because he was just like another version of Duncan. Oh, man. And Sierra and Cameron got along because he was a lot like Cody. Oh, man. It had some really interesting dynamics to work with.
So, did this springboard to season 6 at all?
Yeah. Now, some are referring to it as part 2 of season 5, but it's pretty much a whole new season because of a whole new location, new cast, and so forth. So, I just call it season 6.
Well, join us for season 6 in our next Spotlight podcast.
Yes, which is Total Drama Pacatail Island. And don't worry, we had trouble pronouncing that word too.
We look forward to seeing you then. So that's it.
Yep. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mama Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man. Who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Met her in my dreams. She was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket. Give it to you later on in the form of a locket.